I want to talk to you about something that comes up in almost every pricing conversation that I have with my sellers. It's usually something like, let's price it a little bit high and see what happens. And before I go any further, I understand why people do this. It feels safe. It feels like you're protecting yourself from leaving money on the table. And honestly, after the pandemic market, a lot of sellers are still hoping for a version of that, but it just doesn't exist anymore. Most sellers who want to price high are not being unrealistic on purpose. They've probably seen other homes listed for more, not necessarily sold for more, but listed for more. And they think, well, my house is nicer than that one, or ours is more updated. And so naturally, we should be able to get more money. And that logic makes sense emotionally. It just doesn't always work in real life. Here's what sellers usually expect to happen when they price high. They think they're going to get an offer right away, or at least something close enough to negotiate. They think, well, if it is too high, we'll know quickly, and we can always reduce it later. And what's tough is when that doesn't happen, it actually feels super discouraging. What actually happens most of the time is that the buyers are clocking that house as overpriced immediately. It's not dramatic, it's not emotional, they're just like, scrolling past it. They're comparing it to the other houses and that price just doesn't make sense, so they're moving on. They don't wait around to see if it drops. They don't think, well, maybe this one's special. They just keep looking. And when the price does come down later, the buyers don't think, oh, finally, it's fairly priced. They think, what's wrong with this house? Why didn't it sell? Nothing about the house changed, but the perception did. From the agent's side, if you price too high, it's super stressful for us too. The other agents see it as overpriced and they don't say anything. The showings slow down or they're not happening, and for sellers, that's exhausting. Your house is clean, it's ready to show, you're living in listing mode, and nobody's coming through. It wears on people super quickly, especially if you have kids and pets. In my experience, you know pretty quick if your house isn't priced right. Usually in the first 7 to 10 days, you'll have like no traffic. Nobody comes to your open house. There's no private showings. And that's good information. And at that point, waiting longer is not going to help. I like to think of a price reduction as like a market reposition. It's not really a failure, but it only works if you're decisive about it. Those little baby price drops like $1,000 or $500 here are not going to change your buyer behavior. They just slowly cut off your legs. And here in Redmond, specifically, our buyers are super cautious. There's almost always inventory to choose from, and when something's priced right, it sells within the first 30 days. If a home is inflated or keeps dropping a little bit at a time, the buyers quit paying attention, and they just wait. And when the right one shows up, they jump. So the big takeaway is this. Pricing high to leave room for negotiation is not the best way to start your sale. If anything, pricing correctly or like a little bit conservatively gives you the best option. The most leverage, the most interest, and sometimes you get multiple offers. You don't get to decide your home sale price. The market does. And if you watch the market carefully, it tells you very quickly what to expect. If you're thinking about selling and this question is on your mind, it is worth talking through before you list. In my next video, I'm breaking down something a lot of sellers don't realize, and that's how new construction is quietly influencing resale pricing here in Redmond, even if you're not planning to buy new construction at all.